Alright, there we go. Like, brought it back like a filthy necromancer, bringing back cats.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to D&D&D&D&D, campaign number 2 of Black Ink and Blue Blood. When we last left off, the party returned to Neon's home city of Edict. The troops of Tredu, deserters from Gyogre, who had built technological marvel cities in the Underdark, scavenging on abandoned ruins from previous ages. However, all is not well in the City of Technology. The Scar Concord, via working with the Commissioner of the Peacekeepers, has set into place a potentially catastrophic plan for this for the population of the city. All who have cybernetic augmentation have been given a small dose of ichor, and at the command of Dr. Kaloum, all will be killed and promptly injected, causing their transformation into ichor beasts. Even if only the augmented were to be hit, the infectious properties of ichor would still likely slaughter the entire city. The party does not intend to simply stand by and let that happen. A plan has been set into place. The officer, the ranking officer above Neon, Officer Voter, has a plan in the works, albeit they do not know the scale of what is happening. Suspecting the commissioner's treachery, they intend to infiltrate a wedding that's going to be hosted at the Foxfire Network Towers, and use the opportunity to sneak in, hack into the database, and potentially acquire proof of the commissioner's treachery. However, Neon and the others intend to go a slightly different approach. Neon, from the sounds of it, will attempt to lock Dr. Kaloum out of the network, saving the lives of everyone in the city. And failing that, either destroy or EMP the tower, shutting down the network as well as all that is connected to it, which will plunge Edict into chaos, but in the end save more lives than it takes. The city, other than the criminal underworld, is blissfully unaware of what's coming. And the party makes their way to the Sweet Honey Hive to stay for the night, before heading out to the Ichor Research Lab that the party had explored long ago, in hopes of finding, if not clues, at least something that can give them an edge in the coming conflict. At the minimum, you guys have a few days before the wedding, at which point you either can go with the officer's plan or come up with your own. The clock is ticking. As you guys make your way into the Sweet Honey Hive, it is not different than when you left it. However, you do see a new elf working the counter than had been last time. A somewhat muscular light elf woman with red hair tied back in a bun.
That's not nice.
Okay, which one is sexier, her or Sundragon?
I mean, beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Okay, which one is more structurally, more aesthetically pleasing?
Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. I'm not going to fucking beauty pageant my NPCs for you.
Can I beauty pageant them? Can I be the judge?
If you want.
I don't know how to do that.
Well, then that's that then.
Mean.
As you all enter, she looks up. You can see she has a small headband helping to keep her hair back, and gives a smile as you enter. And you can see her eyes flick around the group before settling on Zephyr. And she smiles and... Will it be the same rooms as last time?
Yes.
Just a moment, then. And without requesting payment of any kind, she retrieves the keys and distributes them to basically give you guys the same arrangement you had last time you stayed at this hotel. For reminder's sake, Caleb had his own room, as did Neon, and Gil. Kero, Lucian, and Raccoon were sharing one, and Zephyr had the penthouse suite.
Yeah.
Looks like we're having a sleepover, Kero.
Well,
Yes.
Would you like to braid my hair?
I don't know how to do that, but okay.
Please do not damage the furnishings this time.
Okay.
I gotta give like this clueless look because Amanda has forgotten.
You guys had the less of a pillow fight and more of a pillow war.
Oh yes, I do remember. I do recall this. I'm gonna go over to her and I'm going to ask if they have any special drinks available.
She kind of tilts her head and gives a kind of coy smile and define special.
Lucian just kind of like shifts her eyes like the shifty, nasty, addicted person she is. And just kind of like shrug. I don't know. Last time I had like the Star Blast, that was really good. But is there anything else maybe I could try? Oh, I do love coffee.
She kind of looks you over and the strong stuff isn't really the Sweet Honey Hive's business. But I can get you some coffee, although we do have Underdark honey, if you would be interested in that sort of thing.
Lucian just kind of blinks. Is this a euphemism?
No, it's honey that comes from the Underdark.
Oh. I've never tried it, but sure.
I will have a jar sent up to your room.
Okay, honestly, Matthew, how is she looking?
She looks like...
A lesbian.
Oh, I see. She looks fairly strong. You do recall that given that this is the troops of Tradu, almost everyone who wasn't born down here used to be in the Gyogran army, so she essentially has Gil's physique, like definitely the physique of a soldier. Although she is wearing sleeves, so you can't tell if she's tatted up like Gil is.
You're just making this easier and easier, Matthew.
I didn't say I was making it easier. I was being descriptive.
I know. I'm gonna slip her. Let's see. We're underground, aren't we? We're in Edict.
Yeah, you're in the Underdark.
Do I stop, or do I just have gold?
Yeah, you just have gold.
just gold.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go up to her and I'm just gonna give her a sweet little smile, and I'll say, you know, I don't have any credits now, but I have some, gold. Is that acceptable?
You do not need to pay for your stay. The Queen Bee said that when you came to simply let you have your rooms. They've been reserved in your absence.
In fee for the drinks?
For the honey, she kind of considers for a bit, kind of looking you up and down, and I'll take the gold and return the change if that's your preference, but I can also, for a gold piece, get you the honey and someone to share it with.
Yeah, that sounds nice. Lucian just kind of like, her face goes like 5 shades of red because she is new at this.
You have a roommate.
I do have a roommate.
So be careful where you go here.
I will say I have a roommate, but maybe I can get my own room in that case.
Well, we do have dens for those under the influence of honey.
I kind of want to, like, lay in my own bed, you know? Yeah, what does it do? That's a good question, Caleb.
Yeah, and as a reminder, I will say all of you are present if anyone wants to jump in. She kind of tilts her head and... I have not tried it myself, but I've heard that some in the Underdark call it dreamer's honey. They say that it takes you to the dreamlands for a brief time.
Do you want to try it?
What if you can't feel? Interesting.
Honestly, that was not what I was expecting with the some of the business that goes on here.
Well, young man, do consider what kind of dreams many people like to have.
Lucian's like, that's not what I dream about.
And on that note,
is just like, oh, you're preaching to the choir.
She kind of gives you a smile and turns to you, Lucian. And I am afraid I'm going to be working tonight, and I have to be alert.
Is there somewhere I can maybe find a companion to, grant me?
I can have someone sent into the den to find you. Just give me... The rest of you can head up to your rooms if you would prefer some privacy, miss, but just give me a description of what you're looking for, and I will make sure that you are given it. Would you like your companion to be in the dream with you, or more down to earth?
Maybe I like more down to earth, like I've never done this before, to be honest with you. I just kind of wanted to try something new. I got this new outfit, I got like this new stuff, so I was like, well, I might as well try something else new.
Absolutely fair, miss. The rest of you can head up to your rooms if there's nothing else, and you just wait here and give me a description of what you would be interested in having as a companion, and I will escort you to the honey den.
Immediately look at Caro, and Caro, you can see absolute sheer panic on Lucian's face. She's like, I don't know what to tell her.
And he's going to drive Sun Dragon. That's what you want.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Understood. I will enter that into our database, miss. And she kind of gives you a wink before starting to type on the computer.
She just, pinches the bridge of her nose, and she, can feel, how hot her skin is. It's very entertaining since, she is very fair-skinned, so, this red is very obvious.
What are the rest of you doing?
Well, Zephyr would like to look over to Gil and Neon. And simply, you two, whenever you have the chance, I would like to see you in my room.
Well, I'm free now.
Same here.
Yes,
Who is
that
he
works
talking to?
too.
Gil and Neon.
Yeah, he looks over there and says that, and then he's gonna look over to Caleb. And then look back to Gil and Neon.
Damn. The projection hurts.
And
probably doesn't even notice.
And I'll say, as the woman at the counter is typing in Lucian's information, you can see she kind of glances over to the conversation and just gives this wide smirk. You can tell she has very different ideas of why Zephyr wants to see you two in the penthouse, but...
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh boy. What am I getting myself into?
Alright. Caro, how about you?
Caro is content to take Raccoon and go up to their room.
Yeah.
She gives a thumbs up to Lucian and
She's probably like
scampers away.
Is that time in Steven Universe when Garnet just thumbs up?
Yeah, Kara's probably just like, mammals are weird.
Speaking of, Caleb, anything for you?
I had a funny idea, but I'm not sure about it.
If it's funny, you should do it.
I was gonna have.
Okay. If you're unsure, I can do the rest of the people's thing, and then you can message me privately, and I'll go from there.
Okay.
All right. In that case, you all head up to your rooms. However, Gil and Neon follow Zephyr to the penthouse. I'll say, Lucian, I'm going to assume you don't correct the worker about Gil's description of your preference.
She's too much stuttering, and she can't form a sentence. So, at the moment, no.
All right. In that case, we're taking the gold piece. She smiles, and after about a half hour, the rest of the party having gone up to their rooms, occasionally other elves flit in and out of the hotel, some in the arms of a companion, others looking to find one. But eventually, the woman gives you a nod as you sit in one of the chairs in the lobby, and your companion will see you now. I'll escort you to one of our honey dens.
Lucian is like her knees are jumping. She is she is a hot mess. She's just like, oh, okay.
Now, they did request that I inform you that they do have another appointment in the penthouse, so she will leave once you have passed out. Is that acceptable? We will make sure you are delivered to your room, of course.
Yeah, just to make sure I get to my bed. It's whatever.
Oh, honestly, I don't think you'll want to, but of course.
Oh my
Her face is just like
yeah, I
her
got it.
hair and her face match. Just 5 shades of red. It's Lucian, the 50 Shades of Red.
You guys have been in this hotel a couple times, but none of you have ever been into the back area, where you occasionally see the companions drifting in and out of. Lucian, as you're escorted into the back area, the lights are a deep, almost golden maroon. And you can hear this kind of low, soulful jazz playing as she takes you down a hallway. The whole hall smells sickeningly sweet. And you can definitely understand why it's called honey. Most of the doors are closed, and you can hear all sorts of untoward noises coming from them.
I do have an intelligence of 18.
Some of the doors
Caleb would know.
Some of the doors are open, although you initially avert your eyes. You notice it's actually not what you expect. You see quite a few people simply staring at the ceiling, and you can notice the rooms are very ornately decorated. And you can notice the ones that have the door open seem to have a theme of sorts. One you pass by that has its door open is kind of a forested theme, and you can see a pair of elves, one man and one woman, just staring at the ceiling, and not even talking to each other, just staring as if the ceiling is the most enrapturing thing in the world to them right now.
Yes, this is what I need. This is exactly what Lucian needs. It's a big chill-out session.
And you are taken to the very back of the hall. Most of the doors are a single, but this one is a double, and decorated with ornate black and gold, much like the stripes of a bee. And it is a double door, but it is carved into the wall in a hexagonal honeycomb shape. And the woman gives you a smile, and you should count yourself lucky. It's not often that a more down-to-earth customer gets to meet the queen bee.
Oh, the famous queen. I don't think I have met her yet. No, I did. She dressed herself as me.
Yes, the moment your description entered the database, she insisted on tending to you personally.
Oh, this should be interesting.
The honey has already been provided, and we made sure that the room has been modified to your tastes. Enjoy yourself, dear.
There
And
are,
with
so many questions on her face.
and with that, she gives you a pat on the shoulder and a wink and one of those little flirtatious puckers of the lips before walking down the hall, leaving you standing alone and awkward in front of the queen bee's chamber.
Yeah, she's standing in front of this door, like her hand is in a fist against her thigh, and she is so visibly tense, and she's you'd think that she stands there for a good long while, to the point where if anybody were to be observing it, they would think that she is about to chicken out. And she's just I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do. And she's just staring at the door and just shaking. And she's just I don't know what to do. And she's that's all that's in her mind.
Okay. Shall we come back to you?
Yes.
Okay. Zephyr, Gil, Neon. You all enter into the penthouse at the very top of the Sweet Honey Hive. Neon and Gil, I don't believe you two got to see the penthouse during your initial stays. You see the massive bedroom, the swimming pool, the balcony, these luxurious accommodations that Zephyr's been staying in during your stay in Edict. And it is impressive, to say the least.
Someone likes the fresh life.
As the elevator door shuts behind you, Neon, what would the three of you like to do?
So, what do you want us for, Zephyr?
Business. Zephyr will kind of go off, close to the bed, drop his bag, or drop his backpack, and he'll grab his bag of holding. And then, I guess, roughly around the foot of the bed, or in front of the bed, he will kind of sit down, and you see him as he grabs out 4 items. 4 items that you guys should know. The book, the gun, the magnifying glass, and the bottle.
Okay.
Well, he kind of puts it in a certain order, but well, I got the time. It took me some time, but I was able to identify each of these, and I was thinking about who should get what, but frankly, I guess it'd be up to us. I guess we have to talk about that. And I guess one by one, he'll basically describe each item. He'll go to the magnifying glass, be like, this item will allow you to essentially read almost any language. It won't decipher or anything but it will. But as long as it's a sort of common language, or I guess as long as it's sort of a known language, it will basically translate it back to common.
Sounds useful.
I figured it would be best for Neon, as he seems I don't know, I have all the items here. That's useful to him. And then he'll go over to the bottle. This one, simply put, will allow you to, I guess, I'm trying to think like how it magically works. I'm trying to maybe like it. Simply, it will allow you to add more. Like it will allow you to get more out of your potions than originally. You can either get 2 to 3 times more than what you originally had. I seem like figured, since as far as I know, none of you had potions, then
Nope.
I would probably be the most one to use it. And then he'll go over to the gun. This one, probably the most dangerous, depending on how you use it. As you saw with Liv, it will transform whoever is injected by the blood of another, dead or alive. It will completely transform them, giving you I believe the racial traits of whatever it is, losing your previous racial traits for 24 hours.
Okay.
But like I said, most dangerous, because acre blood and all that.
Oh, no need to remind me.
Yeah.
Could I have it?
I mean, out of all the items,
You guys okay with the rest of you?
I'd getting to the last item. The last item we can actually sort of, I guess, share. Simply put, this book will allow you to learn any proficiencies. It'll allow you to learn one proficiency of your choice during some time off.
So what you mean to tell me is, you have a book there that basically has the sum of all knowledge on Earth.
Yeah, in a sense, it's blank at first, but then it will, if once you seem like you want to learn something, it will teach you. But it will only teach you one, and then if you try to learn another, the knowledge that you learned earlier is sort of lost.
I see. Hey, DM,
Yes, player.
what's the hacking skill?
Typically, hacking, we have just been considering a general intelligence check. However, since you can't really be
Hey, Matthew.
proficient... Wait, yeah, what's up?
Oh, no, sorry. I thought you were done.
But if I recall correctly, it should be in your inventory. I believe that you have been able to use the automaton arm as hacking tools.
Yes.
If you don't have it already, you could, in theory, get proficiency in that.
Okay, So, hacking tools isn't exactly a thing that I'm allowed to give.
No, of course. I'm just basically like, if you don't recall that you already have proficiency in it, like if it's not noted on your character sheet anywhere, then I would allow you to get proficiency in that.
Okay. So, real quick, I have proficiency in Tinker's tools. I don't imagine that would count, no?
No, Tinker's Tools is to, like, reper things or build
Okay,
things.
then no, I don't have proficiency with it.
Okay.
So then in that case, hey, typey. Typey time, baby.
And that would be most useful.
Well,
Exactly.
I guess it should be noted that once you learn it, as long as the book is still, I guess, as long as the book is not destroyed, you'll know it you'll know it. But each of us could learn our own each proficiency, and we'll still be fine. So you could learn your typey, I guess.
All right. So no matter what we do, don't destroy the book. please.
Yeah. But yeah, once you learn yours, then you can give it to Gil or me, and then we can pass it on after we use it.
If you wouldn't mind, I'd like to wait until we get to the place we're going. I don't know if this stuff wears off.
Well,
Then could I use the book tonight as well? And then you can have it tomorrow.
Sounds good to me.
alright. Well, that concludes. Seems like that concludes that business. And he'll sort of slide out the magnifying glass to Neon, and then slide the gun to Gil, and he'll take the bottle, put that in his inventory.
Okay. Gil, you may add the race replacer and the lexicon, the race replacer and the Zarcy's Book of Bardic Talent and Inspiration to your inventory, and Neon, you may add the lexicon lens to your inventory.
Yeah,
Thank you,
I'm not
Zephyr.
going to add the actual book right now because I'm just going to be passing it off in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
And I definitely need to get rid of it out of my inventory, though.
In that case.
But then, I guess that concludes that business. But I guess before we end our thing here, I wanted to ask you, Neon, the question.
Alright, go ahead.
Are you confident?
Do you want the truth, or do you want me to tell you what you'd prefer to hear?
I would prefer to hear the truth.
Gonna be quite honest, not really. I don't know, I've never really tried anything of this scale before. So, it'd be irresponsible of me to say that I'm confident, but it's worth a try at least.
Possibly.
Possibly.
Simply, I'm just thinking to myself that simply saying worth a try is questionable. But there'll be backup plans, and it seems like we have more time for you to hopefully get more confident in what you need. Hopefully the book will help you in that as well.
I hope so. I have an entire city riding on my skills in this field, and it's a bit of pressure.
Hey, Neon. I got a question. So,
Shoot.
you're Officer Broder, wasn't it?
Voter.
Voter. Sorry. But, when they went to go get all the stuff from the laboratory after we left, did he know what all they took? And if they left anything?
I don't believe this was mentioned, DM.
Nope, nobody asked.
He didn't mention.
Losing neurons. Be a message.
Well, I guess I'll have to ask Lucian later when she's not quite so occupied.
Dude, don't even pretend to be embarrassed.
Oh, he's not.
I
He is not
I
embarrassed.
guarantee you he's gonna go in the other room and think about it.
think about it. Right.
I'm not trying to be lewd. I'm sorry.
All right. With that,
I guarantee.
Caleb, it won't be crazy long, but if you want to do your thing on screen, you can.
Yeah, Caleb was just going to ask about. Well, what did they called? Caleb was going to ask if he could have someone to spend some time with, to just, because most of these people are kind of annoying.
All right. I'll say by the time you get situated in your room and come down to ask that, this after the woman at the counter has dropped Lucian off at in the back room.
And he promises he just wants someone to spend time with. Someone different instead of these people that he's locked up with all the time.
Fair enough.
As you make this request and give all those specifications, the woman actually kind of smiles, and there's no need to be so apprehensive, young man. Believe it or not, we have had many men more than twice your age make a similar request. It's natural to just need someone to talk to, and if you can't afford a therapist down here, this is the next best thing. All of our companions are prepared for such things. Obviously, we can't provide our usual services to you, but if that's all you want, we'd be more than happy to provide. That'll be 7 silvers for the night, and do you have any physical preferences we should know about?
Caleb is just going to say... well... I mean... Let's see, I gotta actually think about it. Like, what does Caleb want?
We'll come back to you. Lucian, as you kind of pace furtively in front of the honeycomb door,
having a mini panic attack.
You can hear all sorts of unfortunate sounds in the halls around you, which does not help clear your mind, not to mention that cloying, distracting, sweet scent of all the dreamer's honey these people are taking. Okay. What do you do?
I'm gonna do what my brother told me to do, and that is to nut up or shut up. Okay. I am gonna knock on the door.
You hear a somewhat brash and scratchy voice call out on the other side. Come on in.
Okay, I will just kind of like awkwardly shuffle in.
As you thrust open the double doors of the honeycomb entrance, you find yourself in an area you don't quite recognize. Wooden floors. The walls are made of this odd, almost canvas-looking material, and while the area is noticeably honeycomb-shaped, there is still very much that sense of almost cubicle. And you initially can't quite think what this room reminds you of until you see there are mats on the floor, and you realize it reminds you of something akin to a monastery. And sitting at the opposite end from the door, clutching a small silvery brown jar to one side, is a woman who is the picture of Sun Dragon physically. And with this ripped physique and leather garments, they give a smile at you. And while they look exactly like Queen Sun Dragon, their voice is much different. It's been a while.
I'm just kind of like staring, like it didn't have to look like that.
That's what you requested, and I'm nothing else if not willing to please. And she gives you a wink and less removes the lid from the jar and more lets it slide off with a tunk, 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 tunk onto the wooden floor as she stands up. And you realize she is quite a bit taller than the real Sun Dragon is.
Yeah. Lucian just kind of really stiff, and she's just like, to be honest with you, I think I'd prefer the real thing. No offense to you. I mean, you're gorgeous. But, I'm turning British for whatever reason.
She kind of...
You're very beautiful.
She kind of tilts her head and gives a slight smirk, and her form begins to shift. And she takes the form of a wood elf, with the same appearance that she had taken with Zephyr. Swirl-patterned high heel sandals, a dress with a rigid bee-like stripe, a vine-patterned corset with a popped collar, and still a rather fit physique. Not quite Sun Dragon ripped, but still rather fit. Again, most not native-born Tradus are from the army.
Mm-hmm.
And she gives a bit of a smile and... I don't know what it is about you all that makes you prefer this to whatever your desires happen to be.
Lucian just kind of gives a non-committal shrug. Well, if I'm only for somebody for their looks, that doesn't really, make me, that just makes me superficial, And everybody already thinks that of me, so,
She thinks for a moment and just kind of stares at you. And I'll say you do recall vaguely that as a doppelganger, she is capable of reading thoughts. She's quiet for a moment before. Well, personally, if you judge people based on their looks, I don't think that makes you superficial. I think it just makes you honest.
Well, I'm not even allowed to do that these days. So,
I think you are. I think you just don't like the consequences.
She kind of is like, yeah, you have a point. And she just, points at the honey. And they gave me, a vague description of what this is going to do.
It takes you to the dreamlands, puts you right to sleep, and makes you conscious while you're in that state. Think of it like lucid dreaming, but able to be done on the spot.
Sounds interesting, to be honest.
It's pretty popular among Underdark artists. Will it make me
feel bad tomorrow?
No, quite the opposite, actually. It leaves you feeling rather pleasant. It makes the stuff rather dangerous, actually. Can be pretty addictive, especially to people who have quite a lot on their minds. You know how a good nap tends to clear your head? Well, you can imagine it's pretty tempting to be able to do that anytime you want.
Yeah, that is an excellent point. Sign me up.
Out of curiosity, and she starts to approach you from across the hall. Is this a business trip or a pleasure one?
Lucian just kind of does the math in her head, and she starts to dissociate.
You can see she kind of smiles a bit as she approaches you about halfway across the room now. I'll take that as a little bit of both. I won't do anything you're uncomfortable with, dear. I have another appointment after this anyway.
I think it was, what did my brother say? A bit of column A, a bit of column B.
Finally, she stands face to face with you and stares at you for a long moment. And is this really what you want, Miss Alefikir?
She kind of what do you mean?
She sighs and, I don't want to be blue about this, but I'm going to be blunt with you. I run a very legitimate business here, and I have no intention of being the one-night stand that you regret. If you would have it your way, I can just give you this jar and make sure that nobody disturbs you in this room until tomorrow morning. But if you want, I can stay in here with you, at least until my next appointment.
No, I think that's what I do want, is just the feel like somebody's there, you know?
I understand. In that case,
I really miss my brother.
Is that what you think?
She kind of blinks. What do you mean?
She starts reaching into the jar, and you can hear the sticky sounds of honey clinging to her fingers as she starts rummaging around in it. It wasn't a few months ago that you were terrified of him. Now, a few weeks on the road, and suddenly he's all you can think about. Is it really him you're missing? And as she pulls her fingers free, you can see golden liquid clinging to her fingers, dripping very delicately and slowly off like syrup. Or is it more the idea of him that you miss?
This actually kind of catches her a little off guard, and she just kind of stares and stares and stares and takes a deep breath. I miss what we had.
And you think what you're doing is going to make it happen all over again? Make things the way they were?
Why shouldn't they be that way?
She looks at you, seeming genuinely kind of sorrowful, and there's nothing you can do to bring your family back, Lucian.
She kind of looks away at that.
Things changed. You changed. He changed. Nothing wrong with a bit of change, but you're putting a lot on something that you can't have. And somebody close to me once said that it wasn't healthy to linger on something that was out of my reach.
It just doesn't feel that way, you know. When I learned everything that I learned from my discussions, and the information that I got, you know, it just kind of, I feel guilty that I, for so long, have made him to be the bad guy, and I don't know if he is a bad guy or, you know, I'm afraid that he is a bad guy, and I'm afraid that he isn't. Does that make any sense?
Oh, it makes perfect sense, but that's not actually what you're thinking.
Oh.
She kind of looks very genuinely surprised. I don't.
She holds her 3 fingers out to you that are still coated in Dreamer's honey. Why don't we go on a little adventure, you and I?
Oh shit, we're gonna make this productive.
Shit, yeah, let's do it. Alright, let's do it. Fuck.
Soul searching.
Fuck it. I hit. Fuck it.
Lucian, you have possibly the most intimate drug exchange that you've ever participated in.
She's just like, what do I do? She doesn't know what she's doing at all.
What drug should I take?
As soon as the honey-coated fingers hit your tongue, you immediately feel yourself getting drowsy.
I wish it was like this all the time. She says that she just like slips off into unconsciousness.
When you awaken, Lucian, you are on grass, and as you rise, you see the queen bee standing up across from you, and the walls are towering hedge maze walls. Very familiar ones.
Yeah.
And the sky is a stormy, dark black.
Uncomfortable noises. Fuck. Alright. I'm gonna take a look around, see exactly where I am.
The queen bee smiles and follows behind you as you set off down the hedge maze. As you continue down, you start to hear this kind of ambient chatter, almost as if they're coming on the other side of the hedge walls, but every time you try to look, it's almost like the leaves and brambles are impossibly thick, unable to be even glimpsed through, let alone crossed. But as you traverse further through the maze, just taking random turns, all the familiar routes you know, completely unable to be accessed, you start to see things cross your path that have no business being there, and you eventually learn to simply ignore them. You see goblins skittering about. One looks up at you and stares for a moment as you cross its path before, just as you're crossing the threshold, its eyes start to drip black before it melts completely into ichor. On the other side of a towering hedge wall, you see a massive flaming skeleton dripping with ichor black tar. You hear voices.
Catch on.
You hear voices in the hedge wall, as if there are voices, and surely they must be plotting against you. Surely they're up to something. You don't know what, but they're planning something, those voices. You see automatons, peacekeepers, dripping black monsters, and monsters that are indistinguishable from regular people. Until eventually the hedge maze clears out, and you find yourself at the top of a hill, more mountainous than true hill. And down a winding path, you see a familiar pair of red-headed elves, a boy and a girl, running together down the path towards a massive mansion that borders the coast with a garden and hedge maze built beyond it.
Do I remember this?
It could be any number of adventures you and your brother went on. And you feel a hand on your shoulder as the queen bee looks down at the site. It's nice, isn't it? Thinking back.
Yeah.
The environment around you shifts, and you find yourself inside the mansion. The sort of inner chamber where you, your brother, and your parents would sit, along with the family cats, in front of a roaring fireplace as your father pored over his studies, and you and your brother talked in code and made up languages to figure out what plans you had for the oncoming days. And you and the queen bee sit on a massive stained glass windowsill as you survey the room. You know, looking at it now, you remind me a lot of the brokers.
She turns her head and there's some tears coming from her eyes. How do you mean?
That's the thing about twins, triplets. All the ones in Edict tend to go to the brokers because they're all, at least down here, like that. She gestures, and your attention is drawn as the room shifts a little bit. The actual contents of the room have not changed, but you notice rather that the distance between the two of you and your parents has increased, almost as if the room expanded to geometrically shift that space, almost as if there's miles of ever-increasing distance. Off in their own little world, doing everything together, but locking everyone else out.
Yeah, and I'll turn over to my head to where I know we would be sitting and We always had each other, at least.
She smiles a little bit and, yeah. She stares at the conversing elven children and you can be honest with yourself in the dream. And you can see she kind of licks sort of lightly at what honey you didn't take from her fingers. You know, what's one thing I can't help but notice? Assuming your memories are accurate, anyway.
Well, I don't remember a whole lot, but...
You remember more than you think you do. It's all up in there, but locked away. I've just gotten good at lockpicking.
What is it that you found interesting?
Your friends aren't that different from him. Except for one thing.
What?
She looks to you and continues to kind of lick some of the honey off of her fingers, and she kind of stares at you for a moment before... It's going to be hard to show you, but... if you're willing to try. And she holds out her hand to you.
She's a little hesitant, but she looks back at the twins and the hand and takes it.
Lucian, make me a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. By the way, you are having me literally cry right now. It's in the air. That would be a natural 1, DM.
As soon as you take her hand, your vision flickers to black, and you hear the queen bee's voice, the only sensation in a void of nothingness. I think that was a little too much for you. So, I'll just say this. How much of it is you miss the way things were? And how much do you just miss always being the smartest person in the room?
That's not it at all. That's what everybody thinks. But you are forgetting that my entire life I've been expected to be the smartest person in the room, so it's not exactly my fault, is it?
And as she laughs, the surroundings almost seem to, despite the pitch blackness, almost melt until you find yourself still in a void, but rather than a black one, a white one, as the darkness melts away, and the queen bee stands across from you in this room that seems to be almost nothingness and everything. And she turns to look at you over her shoulder with a smile. Well, here you are, in a city that doesn't exist, surrounded by people that are dead, traveling with people who don't know who you are. You're about as far away from your expectations as you can get, Lucian. So, why does it matter?
It just does. I can't explain it. It's not something that I can just, explain. Nobody seems to understand.
She smiles and gives a nod. There's pieces missing. Your sweet little friend filled me in on some of the details. I'm afraid I'm not a miracle worker, but there's parts you're forgetting. Not just the parts that have been locked away by alchemy, but things you're choosing not to remember. Selective memory, I've heard the Peacekeepers call it. Whenever someone remembers the things that make them look good or feel good, but forget the things that don't.
You mean all the bad things? Oh, of course. That's like everybody does that. That's like normal, you know.
I didn't say bad things. Just things you don't want to remember. For somebody who's a lot of composite pieces, you sure have a very certain idea of who you are, Lucian.
I look very confused at this.
Let me put it to you in a less complicated way. I can see what the broker showed you. So, with that, how can you be certain that what you're remembering is right? If all of that and the years after were completely lost to you? How do you know for sure that what you're remembering is connected to what you're feeling?
She kind of like looks a little darkly at the queen bee. You're trying to tell me that my feelings are questionable because I'm like, I don't know who I am? Like, because like I don't know what they like. Are you talking about the ichor that's inside of me?
Is that what you're calling it? But yeah.
Wait, pause for a second. What do you mean?
She tilts her head to the side and smiles. I tried to show you what you're forgetting, but it's locked away pretty good. But
I could cast a spell, maybe, and try to see if that would help.
She raises a hand and shakes her head. You're in no state to be casting spells, not in my establishment.
Lucian kind of gives an embarrassed chuckle. Yeah, you're right.
It'll come in time. It always does. And she kind of puts a hand on your cheek and smiles at you. I'm not just in your dream to insult you. I'm trying to help.
I know you're trying to help, and I'm not trying to be, you know, unwilling or unreceptacle. You know, I'm not trying to be that way, and, you know, I'm getting tired of everybody shining this light on me, and I don't know what to do.
Well, she looks to the side, and almost in the space of a blink, you find yourself back in that room. Although this time the expanded distance is gone, and you see it for simply what it is. 2 children in a big home, but focusing on each other, rather than their parents in the very same room with them. You're not so different from the people you like to insult. You have your own demons, and you just deal with them differently than everyone else. Some of your friends like to take them head on. Some of them like to make their little plans and put it off till later. Some don't even realize that they're there. Not yet. And she turns to look at you again. And some lock them away. Push them down, choke them out, and hope nobody looks at them too closely.
I kind of give a non-committal shrug. It's simple psychology, really. I mean...
Is this another one of those do as I say, not as I do situations?
I didn't say that. I'm sorry. I did not mean to come off that way. I suppose I just say things in a way that make people think that I am talking down to them, and I'm not trying to do that.
It's now her turn to give the non-committal shrug and turns to look at the family scene and... Well, I think it goes a little deeper than just how you phrase things. Don't get me wrong. To say out of touch is putting it very nicely. But that's to be expected with your upbringing. That's not really your fault.
Can I look down on my shoes?
I can't show for you what's locked away down there, and honestly, there's probably things even I can't find. This is all so interesting, all of this Icker stuff.
You're welcome. What do you call it?
I don't really have an official name for it. I just find the term Icker very interesting. It reminds me a lot of Underdark naming schemes for their cities.
How do you mean?
Well, they all tend to be very themed around being in the dark and hidden away, so it just strikes me as appropriate, is all. You don't need to read too deeply into it.
No, I mean, I just wanted to hear your reasoning. I wasn't, trying to, burrow into your reasoning. I just wanted to hear your you know what I mean. I'm stumbling on my words again, I'm sorry.
She kind of sighs and looks to you again with this almost... The kind of fond smile that you recognize as being the very same look you often give to people like Caleb.
Mm-hmm. Aw, he's so cute.
Yeah, oh, adorable.
A baby. Can you, would you be willing to help me?
There's only so much I can do. I have to be careful. If I say the wrong thing, step on the wrong toe, I could damage something.
I don't... Do you mean, physically?
No, I mean... You're in a very vulnerable state, Lucian. Right now, between my ability to read your mind and the, let's call it addled state you're in, I could shatter your mind like glass.
Well, at least we would be one down a lift here. That wouldn't be a problem anymore.
She gives a kind of humorless smile, and when you asked me to show you what I knew that you couldn't see, how long was it between then and us talking again?
How long? I don't know.
As far as you can tell, it's been
doesn't
one
know.
unbroken
Sure,
conversation.
Yeah, okay. It's been, one conversation, right?
She smiles, and when I tried to explain what I could see to you, that was 4 hours ago. You passed out.
Oh. Well.
I started to think you were getting sick until you woke back up. Whatever it is, you're not ready to see it. At least, not in this state you're not. But What I'm trying to get across to you, Lucian, is there's things going on that you don't understand, and some of the pieces of the puzzle you have aren't properly shaped. I think that's a good way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
Remember what you saw in the Broker's Archive. There are entire swaths of your life that you don't recall. Who's to say you can trust the pieces you can?
She kind of... Are we, like, sitting down, or are we standing up?
Yeah, you're sitting on the windowsill in the family room.
Okay. I'll lean against my favorite pillow and wish for my cat. So I can just pet thoughtfully and just turn to her and nod. No, you're right. And I know that I don't know everything, and I never said that I did know everything. The things that I do know, I try to at least, be like, hey, I actually know these, and, sorry if I'm in your face about it, it's just the way I was raised.
Ms. Alefikir, I'm in your head. You've never said that.
What? Lucian just kind of like, what?
Like I said, a keen mind, but a selective memory.
Well, if you're just gonna be in here to, bully me, you can get to your other appointment.
Alright, I'll leave you alone. But do keep what I said in mind. You don't have all the pieces. Some of the pieces you do have are for the wrong puzzle. And I think even you yourself don't know exactly what's going through your mind. I have the benefit of being an outside observer. I don't live your experiences, I just flip through them like a book.
Misty just kind of bites her lip and just... I'm not exactly sure what else to say here.
She gives a shrug and stands up and kind of dusts off her dress and... Just something to keep in mind for the future is all. I genuinely didn't just come in here to bully you, but... Well... I get the impression you see that a lot, even where it's not intended.
Well, I don't have to remind you who my father was.
Holy sh...
She kind of tilts her head to the side and considers for a moment, but eventually shrugs. And before I go, and she kind of gives like a full smile, and could you do me something of a favor and ease up a bit on Zephyr? He's a very sweet boy.
I'm not trying to be a certain way with Zephyr. I am actually trying to make friends with him. He just makes it very difficult. And I do admit I have not made it easy for him, but I am trying.
Fair enough.
He doesn't make it easy, and, I've tried to give him the proverbial olive branch, but he didn't seem interested, so I just let it lie.
She stares at you for a long moment. You can see her kind of smiling and licking her lips. Definitely some consideration in her mind, but eventually she puts her hands up. I think I've pushed you hard enough for one dream. I don't know if any of my workers told you, but this stuff is meant to be pleasant. But you said this was column A, column B. You still have a few hours of dream, and I'll leave you to do with those as you wish.
Think I want to stay in the living room and listen to him play.
You do
just
that.
Lay in the windowsill.
Alright.
And cry.
I'll see you in the morning, Lucian. And with that, she vanishes. Lucian, you spend the rest of the night drifting in and out of consciousness in a cloying, sweet-smelling back room of a brothel, stoned out of your mind, caught in a lucid dream that seems endless, but pleasant. Caleb, your requested appointment does eventually arrive. Do you want to have the conversation on screen, or is it more just kind of off-screen fluff kind of stuff?
I'd say it's mostly gonna be fluff.
Okay. But you do receive a companion simply to talk to.
And you got the message about it, right?
Yeah.
The only real thing I was gonna kind of say was just kind of ooh and ah if they look really nice.
Yeah, which they do. They match your specifications pretty much perfectly.
Cause it's just like, oh, you will do.
Neon and Gil, you return to your rooms with minimal incident, magical, or rather advanced technological dwarfen items in tow. Anything from the pair of you before going to sleep for the night?
Not from me. Need to attempt to get some sleepies.
Valid. Gil?
So first he's going to use the book,
Okay.
and then after that he's going to take some of his Star Blast, drink it, and then rest up.
Okay. Make me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh no, he fails. He's trying to get drunk.
Okay. Noted. Star Blast, start this. Okay. You are piss drunk. And...
He did use the book before that.
No, yeah. And what proficiency do you want to get from the book?
He's going for stealth.
Okay. The book, after turning a few blank pages, greets you with a kind of humorous anecdotal passage of the writer of the book, Xarces, basically all but outright mentioning that he can tell you intend to use this information to steal from your allies, but gives you the information happily anyways. You now have proficiency in stealth.
How bored of them to assume.
You now have proficiency in stealth.
Okay.
Kato, anything from you? Lucian does not return for the night.
I'm just gonna take a nice long bath.
Okay.
She'll invite.
Raccoon?
Yeah.
Okay. The two of you enjoy...
Today, Claro.
You enjoy a relaxing, luxurious soak. Finally getting some water outside of your suit. And you just enjoy yourself. It's very nice, to put it mildly. Zephyr. After a few hours, you're pretty much asleep by this point, but you're startled awake by the...
Well, before I go to bed, I was going to have him...
Oh, go ahead.
change attunements to the mind ring.
Okay. Which ring was it again? Sorry.
The ring he just got recently, the mind shield ring.
Okay. Noted. You are awoken deep into the night by a light from the elevator. And you initially get kind of defensive, expecting that maybe someone's coming up through the elevator to either attack you or, even worse, bother you.
You was coming to steal your diamonds.
But when the door opens, you see a small kobold girl. A very familiar one. Who you remember talking to in this penthouse last time you were here. She gives you a smile and crosses over the threshold. Sorry I woke you. Lucian kept me busy a bit longer than I expected.
That sounds like... that sounds normal.
And you notice her giggle seems a little off, and as she starts walking towards the bed, you notice she has a very slight sway to her step, and her eyes seem slightly glazed, and she clambers up into your bed in her small kobold form, and just lays her head at your feet and smiles up at you upside down. I missed you.
I mean, I have thought about you more in a sense of what I can, more in the sense of business, but...
She kind of squints for a moment, and there's a long pause, and she frowns and flips to stare at you head on, and just... Do you not want me reading your mind? That is super rude. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to yell at you.
Well...
Were you mad at me?
Am I mad at you? As far as I know, you haven't done anything too wrong with...
No, I haven't done anything. I reserved the whole penthouse in case you ever came back.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Are you okay?
I took a little bit of honey with Lucian before I came up.
Okay.
You are so red.
Well, I did want to speak to you about a couple of things, but in your...
I'm fine. I'm fine. What's up? What do you need? I would just answer your questions now, but yeah, you make it to where I can't read your thoughts anymore. She kind of slams her head face first into one of your pillows and kind of wraps herself around it before rolling over to look at you again.
Well, I can't allow...
It's fun being this small.
Well,
yeah, go ahead. What do you want? What's up?
Well, I can allow you access to my mind, but there's a few things I would like to know first.
What's up?
I'll be right back.
Go ahead.
It might be a bit. What did you get from Lucian?
Huh? She paid gold.
Well, not meaning that. I assume if you were with her, you looked into her mind.
Yeah.
I was wondering how much information you know.
Zephyr, make a persuasion check with advantage. Because she's high and she likes you.
Alright.
I hope you know that screaming you hear is me.
Persuasion with advantage roll.
I literally just screamed, "I hate you." I'm so sorry.
I rolled very poorly. 10.
I screamed it in my head. I wasn't gonna actually scream.
She kind of shakes her head and lays it on the pillow she's holding. I can't tell you that, I'm sorry. Customer confidentiality. What goes on in the honey dens stays in the honey dens. I didn't tell anybody about what we talked about.
Okay.
No, push it.
Sorry.
I want to hear this shit.
You're not even asking about deep shit. The funny part is, but
Are you mad at me?
No, I get it. Clients are clients, but
Yeah.
do you know about the situation that's been going on?
Yeah.
Yeah. How much do you know?
We're all gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
And you notice she starts to lick at her fingers, and you can see her fingers are covered with this. There's not much of it left, but you can see her fingers have some sticky-looking yellow liquid on them.
It's the rainbow.
Yeah, I guess he'll just kind of let her do her thing.
I'm sorry, I got distracted. Yeah, I saw the whole thing. I thought it was just going to be the peacekeepers coming to kill us, but it's way worse than that. It's so much worse.
You know about the tower?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, do you know about our plans?
As much as Lucian knows.
Okay.
Just you won't tell me anything.
Well, I wanted to ask you a question without the knowledge, but it seems as Lucian is already giving you that knowledge, I guess it's no longer necessary.
Sorry.
Yeah. Business before pleasure, I guess.
You didn't pay to get me for the night. I'm only up here because I like you.
Well, I guess, since you already know that much, I mean, I will allow you to do what you wish, and he will allow the telepathy or the mind reading, because I think I can just simply allow it.
If you take the ring off, it's
I think I just can just say, hey, I can choose who.
Oh yeah, only if you allow it. Yeah. Oh no, that's for telepathic communication. But it says if you're wearing the ring, you're immune to blah blah blah. So if you just take it off, then it's the same either way.
Okay. Sure. I'll take off the ring.
You don't feel anything, and she just kind of lays down and stares up at you, and there's a long pause, and you initially think she might be just kind of drifting off, which she does seem like she's on the verge of. But after a while, she speaks up again, kind of mumbling to herself in her half-asleep state. I told her she should be nicer to you.
You told who?
Lucian. I told her she should be nicer to you.
Why would you do that?
You're nice to me.
nice to you because you're, I guess, well, in your current state, you're a little, but usually you're calm and collected, but I guess based off what you know of our plans, what would you think would be the best option?
Oh, she kind of sits up and kind of rubs at her eyes, and she kind of does that for a long moment before kind of focusing again, and yeah, oh, wow. She thinks for a moment, and I think your current plan makes sense. But, I mean, I don't have any augmentation, so it doesn't make a difference to me, but maybe you should have an EMP ready just in case. Maybe have Neon hack it, but if it seems like it's going to go bad, then... And she mimes an explosion with her hands, and... Sure, a few people with, like, augmented hearts might just kind of die, but, I mean, that's better than, like, everyone dying, right?
Well, if I'm gonna be honest, I was going to do that anyways, and I was gonna ask you if you knew anyone who could acquire such a device.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. I can ask Mom. I can ask Mom to get us some. She can definitely get us one big enough to the whole tower.
I assume that will cost, so.
Yeah, but
Just walking like, so I need an explosive that would be powerful enough to, I don't know, hypothetically destroy the Firefox. No,
well, not explosion, an EMP.
Yeah, EMP blast. But
yeah.
whenever you say this, ever, she just kind of waves you off, and I'll cover it. Don't worry about it.
Oof. But well, I mean, I guess as long as it's not too much trouble.
See, you are nice to me.
But as long as we can get that, and well, either Neon fails or not, we can use it or not. Hopefully, we'll at least stop Ickerby from happening for temporarily.
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming now that it seems like you already have, or well, not you, but the people already have that blood. It just needs the signal. So it's only a matter of time before they can. If they get one, they get.
Well, I don't know about that. Because if everyone had it in their blood already, I mean, people just kind of sometimes die down here. Like, if it's in their blood, wouldn't that just happen every time someone died?
Not exactly what I mean. It just simply means that you, all they need to do is still get a signal, even if it's not strong enough to reach the entire city. While blockable, dude.
I get it.
So I guess after this, if y'all wish to, since you now know the knowledge, however you wish to protect yourselves is up to y'all.
I make sure that the people with me don't dabble in augmentation, so we'll be alright. Oh, wow. She kind of stares off into space for a bit, and you can see her kind of start to sweat a little bit, and just kind of wrap herself around the pillow again, and just, no, that, thinking about that can wait. And she just kind of wraps herself up in the blankets of your bed.
Are you staying?
Is it okay if I stay?
I mean, especially with your size, especially, being as you are doing now, the bed was easily big enough for the both of us.
She smiles and kind of burrows further into her little cocoon, and... Thanks. And you can see her eyes already starting to droop, and she licks the last of the honey off of her fingers.
Interesting.
And...
in an interesting way, Zephyr's sleeping with the queen bee.
She seems to have a soft spot for you.
I guess Zephyr will let her do her thing and try to get back to sleep.
Thankfully, she doesn't fidget or anything, and again, you're both very small, and this bed is huge, so you have more... It's not... Even with her little cocoon, she's not hogging enough blanket for it to be noticeable. And she simply sleeps quietly as the honey finally starts to kick in for real and knock her out completely.
Well, I guess I'll put my ring back on.
With that, you all get a long rest. As morning comes over the sweet honey hive. Zephyr, by the time you awake, the queen bee is already gone.
Yeah.
Lucian, you kind of slowly stir, and eventually, as you start to kind of regain your consciousness, you find yourself in a different room than the one you remember falling asleep in. You see that you are currently in a room that is basically just flooded with pillows and blankets, just this little, almost ball pit of cushions, surrounded by other semi-conscious elves in a similar circumstance to you. The door is left open, but that cloying honey scent still lingers in the air, and you can see a elf with long, dark hair, just left to hang freely rather than tied back, pass by and kind of taking a second glance as she sees you and some of the others are starting to wake up, gives a smile and, are you all ready to leave?
Yeah, I would love some breakfast. Maybe some coffee.
We are unfortunately not a diner, but there's lots of great cafes in the area if you need.
Yeah, I'll get my shit and I'll go.
And I'll say, Lucian, as you start making your way to the lobby, you notice a few other people definitely high on honey, as they pass you by, kind of give you very familiar looking, familiar as in it seems a little too personable for a stranger, kind of wink.
If you know, look that stoners give each other.
Yeah, and they kind of give you winks and nods as they pass you by. The sensation you have in your head is rather interesting, in that it's that kind of thick sensation when you have a hangover, but rather than pain and soreness, it's this kind of loose, slow feeling. Almost like a mixture of a hangover and the sensation you would get for like having just woken up from a very deep sleep.
Boy. So a tiny bit of headache. Nothing coffee can't solve.
And for the rest of you, you awaken with minimal incident and start to make your way downstairs. As you all arrive, as you all arrive in the main lobby, what would you all like to do?
Well, are we ready to go? Oh, I should probably... I'll note that Lucian puts on her warm clothes, just in case it's cold.
Okay. Anything from the rest of you before you set out to the caves?
Me.
Gil will pass Neon the book.
Oh. Right, I almost forgotten.
Okay.
Yes, the book of smartness.
Wait, a book of smartness? What?
You'll get your turn, Lucian. Don't use it.
No. What?
It's a book that allows you to get a proficiency.
What's a proficiency?
You get better at something.
Well, that would be nice. Neon, when you're done, can I use it?
Don't know if that's for me to. I don't know if that's a decision I'm allowed to make. You'd have to take it up with the owner, and then I'll kind of gesture my thumb at Zephyr.
Just take a glance at Zephyr, and just everything drops on Lucian's face, and she's like, "Oh, never mind." And she'll go try to find coffee.
Alright. Keto, Zephyr, anything from the two of you?
Nope.
Gil will follow Lucian, just to make sure he doesn't do anything stupid and she gets her coffee without getting lost.
Alright. Zephyr, Caleb, anything from the two of you?
I'm assuming I haven't found the queen bee.
Well, she was gone when you woke up, but you can, like, either ask for her or go look for her real quick if you want.
I'm assuming we're not gonna be gone for too long, so he'll kind of just go to the front counter and just be like, well, not sure how long we'll be away, but if you can tell the queen that, well, if she remembers of last night, that I would appreciate if she can do what she has offered.
The dark-haired elvish girl seems a little surprised, but her expression kind of straightens, and of course, I'll be certain to let her know.
Okay.
And Caleb, anything from you?
Does Caleb see the person that he spent the night with?
Sorry. Oh.
You good?
I was just yawning real quick. Yes, they are present when you awaken. Although, again, given the circumstances of how you spent the night, they of course, give you your space. But since you were up for a good part of the night, they just meditated in the room with you.
Well, before he leaves, he's going to thank them for putting up with him, and he's going to give them 6 gold.
Yeah, which they will happily take. And they kind of take a second glance at it being gold instead of silver before.
Caleb, sorry about that. You can get it converted.
Oh, no, it's no trouble. Just surprise is all. Thank you very much. And they give you a bow, and as they pass by the front counter, initially the girl up front seems kind of confused, but after taking a second glance at them, kind of mutters something in Elvish to them, and the man nods before heading into the back rooms.
Was Caleb able to hear what they said?
Do you speak Elvish?
Yes.
You understand that what she had said to him was, "Oh, I didn't recognize you. You're still glamored. Get that fixed up, and you have a call." And the man had simply responded in what you now recognize to be female dialected Elvish, giving a response of, "Yes, of course. Let me just get myself fixed up, and I'll be right with them."
So it was just like, interesting solution. And just continue on his day.
And with that, Lucian, you're able to get a cup of coffee for a silver.
Sweet. I'll get a nice, I don't know, warm coffee.
All right. And Gil, make me a Constitution saving throw, please.
Ooh. What did you do, Gil?
That affects us.
18.
All right. Gil, you awaken with an extreme hangover, and you are incredibly. You're in pain. You're irritable, and you feel an unquenchable thirst for more Starblast.
And then I guess he'll take another swig as he heads out.
Noted. You are now pissed drunk, but your hangover is gone.
Woo! And he will grab a coffee with Lucian.
Alright, that'll be a silver.
Making everything worse.
I'll say, Gil, for your reference, you are now at level 2 of addiction to Starblast.
Sorry, the dog was chewing
No
up
worries.
my blanket, so we were just getting on to her for that.
No worries, no worries. Yeah, so?
How many levels are there? Like, do you remember?
Let me...
Wouldn't try to get the highest, you know. Wouldn't try to go higher much, you know.
And I will say there's not a set level, but basically how I've designed the mechanic to work is you will get progressively more stick as your addiction progresses, and if your addiction because basically every level higher the addiction goes, the DC of the saving throw gets harder. And if your addiction crosses the threshold where it would be literally mathematically impossible for you to make the saving throw, your addiction will kill you.
Alright then.
Wow. Okay. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, you took a drug! You basically took crack!
Yeah, you did a weed.
Crack is nice.
Dude, crack
Like,
is whack.
you basically just did, like, drinkable heroin, and you're like, oh, I didn't know it was dangerous! Sorry, I'm just giving you a hard time. But yeah, no, seriously,
Yeah.
I will say, now that it's over, Lucian was at, like, level 4 addiction, and if it had progressed 2 more times, Lucian would have died.
I would have to keep that in mind.
That being said, Gil, you are now piss drunk, and the party begins making their way across the city. Coffees in hand. Is there any pit stops anyone would like to make before reaching the wastes and Reaper territory?
I'd like to get some new clothes.
Okay. Complete set?
They're worn. Yes. He's going to get 2 complete sets.
Okay.
A nice tuxedo for when he has to go as a server, and then also a traveling outfit.
Okay.
I'm also gonna go pick up like a nice dress.
Okay. Gil?
Kind of angrily mutter to myself, I'm not disturbed.
Gil, your sets will cost you 17 gold. Lucian, yours will cost you 15.
Okay.
With that, you all begin to make your way across Edict, careful to avoid the watchful eyes of peacekeepers, and you eventually reach the outskirts of Reaper territory. As you pass through, the junkies and dealers do not pay you particular mind. Again, those of you who went to see Naden before recall that they have been given orders to let you pass through without being accosted. Basically, you are to be considered allies during this trying time. And eventually you go past even the farms and the outer cavern walls, where you recall the entrance to the caverns to be. As you approach the cavern mouth, unlike before, where it had that constant freezing breeze coming from it, the air does feel cool, but more of a kind of pleasant cool. Not the freezing cold it had been before. Just so I have marching order established, who is going in first?
I would like to go first.
Alright,
Yeah.
Neon, you want to go behind Gil?
Yeah, I'll follow behind Gil.
Okay. Alright.
I'll hide behind the mech.
Okay.
It's my cover. The fuck, dude?
You all begin to make your way into the caves. Some of you, as last time, crouching down, keeping your heads low. Others able to simply walk through completely unobstructed. As the cave opens up into that big cavern mouth, you all immediately notice some differences from when you were here last time. The ice that was lining the ceilings and walls has completely gone. In its place, at your feet, there's this just kind of omnipresent, about 3 or 4 inches of water. Thankfully, it appears to be clean, or at least as clean as groundwater can be. And the water is kind of cool to the touch, but again, not discomfortingly so. The whole cavern, whereas Edict is just this kind of like, just kind of neutral temperature, warmer or colder depending on where you happen to be standing at the time. This chamber feels just kind of a little below average. Overall, it's comfortable. Assuming nobody wants to stop and investigate anything or take any side routes, I'm going to assume you guys... Basically, until stated otherwise, I'm going to assume you guys
at least, go into... I want to, at least, let everybody go and then, take off the warm clothes and put my summer clothes back on since it's not freezing down here.
Okay. So again, unless basically speak up if you're not, but I'm going to assume you guys are just taking the same route you took last time. Because again, I don't want to make you guys redo the whole fucking bit that you did before.
Yeah, but I am also keeping an eye out for any acre beasts that might be left.
Make a perception check.
Guidance.
Add a d4 to it.
Thirty 20.
Okay.
But that
Gil, as you lead the group, you keep your eyes peeled and your ears sharp. However, other than the drips of water and the splashing of your group's travel, for the time being, you don't hear anything unusual.
I would like to take the moment to say that Lucian is trying to pay attention to, as much as she can. See if, any cameras, see if she can see any cameras following them. Just kind of taking a recon every moment she can.
Make a perception check.
Cool. That would be 26. Natural 19.
Noted. Okay. As you guys continue along, the water stays at, again, the kind of 3 to 4 inch level, and the air is pleasantly cool. Definitely far more pleasant than the freezing blizzard that you had to endure the first time. As you travel through the tunnels that had once been icy and cold, the walls are simple stone and rock now. Although you can still see the occasional dark stain where Iker had once been. Some of it, however, looks shallower, as if it's been scratched away.
Is there any way I can get any samples from any of these?
Make an investigation check.
I got an okay roll, 14.
Lucian kind of stopping to check out some of the markings on the walls as the group trudges through the water. Unfortunately, it looks like what's left of it has basically burned into the rock, so unless you feel like taking out fossilized Iker, there's no way for you to sample this.
No. But I will be on the lookout for things that I can use for my spare time, the thing that I'm doing behind the screen.
Okay. You guys work your way through the network of tunnels, taking the same route you had taken before. Rather than simply following wherever route is coldest, going off of a combination of memory and the trail of Iker that occasionally intersects with your path. You guys pass through the area where you recall fighting the 2 Iker beasts, one of which had been a Lovelander at one point. Kero, you recall helping carry the bones of said Iker beast for a while. Eventually, you guys make it to the mouth that exits into that massive cavern. And as you all step out, you half expect it to still be a blizzarding wasteland. But as you exit out, there's no snow. Simply stretching hills of rock. It's certainly desolate in its own way, but still a far cry more habitable than a complete enclosed blizzard. And in the distance, without the fog of the cold distracting you, while your dark vision ranges do not go far enough to see it, you can still see some distant lights from the direction of the facility. As you guys work your way across, the chamber, again, has no snow in it. However, while you notice that the ice in the tunnels had simply melted and pooled at the bottom, you find yourselves wondering where the water from all the snow that melted pooled. And after a couple hours of walking through this cavern, you get your answer. Gil and Neon at the front, much, much faster than you expect. Like, you expect you would probably have to walk for another couple minutes. You find yourselves at the shore of the lake. However, looking down and at your surroundings, you can see that the water that had pooled from the melting snow has made the lake significantly deeper. And thus, what was originally the shoreline has been consumed by the melted water. And in fact, Gil, kind of squinting and looking closely, you can actually just barely make out what had been the railroad you guys had walked across the first time, now several feet below the water.
You guys know that I can still cast water walk. I can cast water walk on us, and we can just walk across. Really, that simple. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and cast a water walk.
Okay. Lucian, giving everyone a magical dose, so to speak. You all now can walk on water. And if there's no objections, begin. It's a little disquieting for some of you at first, not being used to the sensation of water walk, but you quickly get used to it, and it's actually less uncomfortable than walking across with the railroad being the only thing that separated you from an icy doom. Although, Caleb, you do find yourself kind of cautiously looking around as you walk, not quite positive that nothing in the Underdark inhabits this water, especially with the lake no longer frozen.
Yeah, probably for the best.
As you all make your way across, the distant lights of the facility grow closer. And while you are all very careful and cautious, you arrive with no aquatic incident. At least, not yet.
There's gonna be like
the facility
some rings where we get there, and as you're cutting in the door, some frickin' tentacle monster's gonna come up and be all roar.
Hey, don't beat me to the punch. As you all arrive, the facility looks far different without the just ever-present snow and ice just kind of half burying it. And with your visions now clearer and the area now cleaner, you can see surrounding dirt and rock on this little isolated Underdark island. And you see Lucian at a glance, the occasional spark, as it appears the flooding may have damaged a few things. But the facility itself still stands. And where once had been simple buried snow is now dirt pathways and the dug up soil in that garden where you guys had fought the Scarecrow. I will say at this point, since you guys have effectively re-entered this dungeon, I will take a slightly more bit-by-bit approach, but I will say Neon, being the person who suggested coming here, do you have a particular place you want to go that you remember, or is it more you're just revisiting the area and seeing what you guys can find?
I recall there being like a computer lab. Or something.
Yes, in the on the bottom floor, there was a computer.
Howdy ho, to the bottom floor we go.
All right. Anyone have any objections to that?
No.
Yeah, for now, no.
Pretty much Gil's going to go and be the lookout bodyguard while he does whatever he needs to.
I do want to speak with Neon for just a second.
Okay, you can do that while you guys are on the way there. Keto, Caleb, Zephyr, good with this plan?
Sure.
For now.
Yep.
Keto?
I said yeah.
Okay, sorry I didn't come in. Alright.
Okay, what
Neon?
is that sound?
That's
Oh,
me,
it's
I'm sorry.
Austin shuffling.
What? Not moving.
Oh, I thought
No,
it was
it
you.
was me breathing. I'm so sorry. My mic is like right next to my mouth. I'm so sorry. I'll mute.
Alright. As Gil, you take up more of a lookout position as Neon has a more concrete goal in mind and thus takes up the front. Lucian, you kind of now a little closer to the front of the group, a little disquieting, but still, nonetheless, you press forward. And as Neon trudges across the front gardens towards the entry point door, you had something you would like to say?
Yeah, before we get up there, how long if memory serves, how long should it take to get up there? Like 5 minutes?
While your keen mind does not stretch that far back, you do at least vaguely recall that, assuming you guys don't stop for anything, and aren't slowed down for any reason, you'll probably get down to the bottom floor in like 10 minutes.
Okay.
The facility's big, but not, like, huge.
Right, okay. Neon, I have something that might be able to help you. I know that there's a lot on your shoulders, and I was thinking about how I can help you because no one should have such a weight on them. But I can cast a spell to help. Didn't you say it was a intelligence saving throw for hacking?
Not a saving throw, just a check.
Are you trying?
Okay, hang on. Let me double check the spell that I'm gonna.
Wasn't it like just a proficiency check or whatever with my tools?
I can basically for just all intents and purposes, I'm going to cast Enhance Ability on him, and I'm gonna give him the Fox's Cunning, which is advantage on intelligent checks.
Very
So I
funny.
was wondering if that's actually going to be helpful in this instance.
Yeah, Austin, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that should work.
I don't know the spell, to be honest. First time I've even heard of the spell.
Yeah. I'll rule that works.
Okay, cool. Okay. So, when we get down there, you just prepare your mind, and I will do what I can to help you, but don't be afraid to ask for additional help as well.
I appreciate it.
I'm just trying to be there for you.
How long does it last, by the way?
An hour.
An hour. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do it right when we get there. So, if your hacking takes more than an hour, I can cast it more than once.
Alright.
Yeah.
Effectively, I can cast it. Let me double check.
Just an action, as long as action and the touch. That's all.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to see where I just fucking there it is.
Yeah, you should have a focus of the opponent's no big deal.
Yeah, it should be okay. Yeah, I just have to be able to to tap you on your little furry head and give you that. And then I can cast it up to 3 times, and then when I'm out of that, I can give you guidance.
Okay.
So, you do have magical help.
Okay. Alright.
Just trying to be your family neighborhood necromancer.
Neon, as you lead the group forward, you first start to notice what will likely be a series of small changes. When you notice the little pad that you had initially had to hack your way through to get the group inside the facility has been completely destroyed. Although thankfully the door simply hangs open. So the group is not stranded outside of it. Using Morgan to basically push what's left of the door open, you, peering inside, find that the facility is very deeply flooded, far more than the outside area and tunnel had been. Anything that had been at ground level is almost completely submerged. The water easily a foot or so deep. Zephyr, you're almost up to your chest and basically swimming at this point. And even the rest of you are having to trudge quite a bit. Kero, you are delighted. And even Garo seems pretty happy.
It's probably ice-cold water, though.
Well, because remember, this area isn't frozen anymore. It's actually, again, it's cool, but not like freezing.
Yeah, I would like to remind you that I do have water walk up, and it does last an hour.
Well,
yeah, but bear in mind, it took you guys that time to just cross the lake.
I mean, I could cast it again.
Well, you want, but you haven't cast it yet, so.
Yeah, I know, but. Yeah. No, I know. I'm just trying to help.
And Neon, you note with a little pang in your technology-loving heart that the computer you guys had spent a bunch of time repairing now lies completely submerged and likely beyond repair.
What the fuck?
No, like the one that had been in the upstairs lobby area.
Yeah. All that work for nothing. Oop. I almost threw my pencil into my own eye. Jesus.
A little too in character there.
Why are you doing that?
As you guys start...
Stop it.
Because I'm cool. Dude, I'm epic.
As you guys start equal parts swimming, equal parts trudging your way through the facility.
Or climb the walls instead.
Yeah. Do you want to do that?
Yeah. Well, you...
Zephyr, you kind of Spider-Man yourself to the wall to stay out of the water.
Spider kobold.
And you guys press forward. As you pass through the centermost hallway, you notice that whereas the windows had been frosted over when last you were here, with the cold gone, you're able to see into the enrichment centers, as they had been called, and can see a lot of what was in them has been removed. And you can see the one that had an Ichor beast that you guys had left be before leaving the facility is no longer present. Both enrichment centers look empty.
Yeah.
They also appear even more badly flooded. The water actually reaching partially up to where the glass of the windows is, and if it got any deeper, those enrichment centers would qualify as an aquarium.
Mm-hmm.
And Neon, as you look at just the water damage that's encompassed a lot of the facility and a lot of the electronics that have just been completely lost, you do begin to worry if the computer on the bottom floor is even going to be working.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
You make your way to the back room, where the hatch-locked door lies. This area is not as badly flooded as there's, a series of doors to lock it off from the rest of the facility. However, there is still a little bit of water, so just bear that in mind if you guys intend to open it. But assuming you do.
Yeah.
Gil, since Neon is currently within Morgan, you stoop and, with a crank, open up the hatch. And pulling it open, a little bit of water seeps down, but you guys begin, one by one, to climb down to the bottom floor, where you guys encountered Theta for the first time. Not in this room, but this area.
Mm-hmm.
Poor Theta.
As you guys climb down the ladder, you're back in that room where you fought 3 Ichor beasts at once. And looking around, thankfully, it seems like this area has not been flooded. While there was quite a bit of snow down here, it didn't accumulate as Theta had been next to the boiler, which ironically distributed more of the freezing cold to the rest of the facility, but not to this area, as again, there's a series of airlocks, as you recall, and various measures that prevented it from accumulating here. So, Neon, you are quite relieved when you see that there's not very significant water in here. However, what is significantly less relieving, as you look over the computer, is the computer looks to have been smashed.
Well,
a lot of the machinery at its base is melted and fused. The screen looks to have been smashed in, and the keyboard has been just... It looks like someone lost a match of League of Legends on this keyboard, let's put it that way.
Wow.
Oh boy.
That keyboard is probably looking like the keyboard of... That keyboard would... You remember that meme with the German kid?
Oh, yeah.
The keyboard probably looks like that keyboard.
Yeah, that sort of ballpark. And I'll say all of you can see this damage, although Neon being more technologically savvy, you know how bad the damage is.
Well, I don't think we're going to be doing much.
No, we're not.
I'm gonna look around, see if I can... I don't know. I feel like I know something, but I don't not say anything.
Mm-hmm. Well, can you fix it?
So, Matthew, I feel like this is a dumb or I feel like I already know the answer to this question, rather, but, is it salvageable?
Make intelligence check.
Guidance.
Let's see. Intelligence.
I mean, I can cast. I guess I can cast it. No.
I have no
We're
idea
always
what
casting
you
it.
said.
We need it.
That's
16.
talking about casting the thing now.
Do you want to cast Enhance Ability now, Lucian?
Yeah.
Alright, Neon, you have advantage on this. And add a d4.
Okay, so yeah, that was 16 before, and then... let me do that d4. Plus 3, so... 10. So, 16 and a 10.
Okay. Neon, as Lucian's magic courses through you, through 2 different spells enhancing this check, you look the computer up and down and you focus. You've spent a lot of your early career repairing junk. The keyboard and screen are unfortunately beyond saving. However, there is a chance, if you had the tools and the time, you could, as you kind of give it a cursory look, you haven't looked closely at the damage yet, but as you kind of give it a cursory once-over, the screen is likely beyond saving, and while the keyboard probably still works, so many keys are missing that it'd just be it'd be more work than is probably necessary or preferable. You think you may be able to potentially salvage the core of it, though. It wouldn't be the first time you had to get a computer repaired under circumstances like this, but it's never easy. So you think it would be possible, but not easy, and you know that the screen and keyboard are beyond saving, so you would basically, to put it into technobabble, you would essentially be restricted to working with the computer through direct interfacing and effectively using binary to get the data you need.
So, new idea. Is the hard drive intact?
Make an investigation check.
Can do. Investigation. That would be 13.
Since we had ruled that enhanceability applies to checks, or like skill checks, I believe intelligence is... Or investigation is... Yep, investigation is intelligence. You can roll this with advantage.
Alright, cool. Okay, so there's a 13 before, and now a 17.
Okay. Neon, as you peek through, you notice a couple things that catch your attention before you even start looking for the hard drive. As you approach the base sort of tower of the computer, you notice, initially it just looked like kind of a smoldering plasticine mess, but you notice that it looks too clean to have been simple fire. Not to mention, the thought occurs to you, what business would a fire have had here? This place was freezing a few weeks ago, and the worst that's happened since then is water damage.
Oh yeah, I've been under no impression that an accident caused this.
And your suspicions start to carry even more merit when you notice the cleanliness of this burn. Even if someone were to be carrying the most precise flamethrower in the world, would likely still be a little too uncontrollable to melt it in a very precise fashion. This isn't the work of someone destroying something. This is the work of someone breaking through the outside to get to what's within. This had to be the work of plasma weaponry, which the only people you know of to have access to plasma weapons are peacekeepers.
Yep, knew it.
And as you look inside, a lot of the actual mechanics are completely untouched, but the hard drive is missing.
And of course it is. Oh boy.
Well, saw this coming.
Was it a computer downstairs that maybe you could take parts from?
I don't know. Like, do you relate
Doing it good.
Neon?
Hmm?
Do you relay this information?
Yeah.
Well, there's nothing to be done with this computer.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really much worth fixing with it.
Hmm.
So we wasted an entire trip.
Now what?
I mean, it only took us, I think, a day, right, to get here?
Just a couple hours.
Oh.
Remember, last time you guys were trudging through blizzard and snow to get here and fighting Icar beasts the whole way.
So we've been here. We've been in the actual facility for a couple minutes at this point.
Yeah, you've only been in the facility for like 20 minutes.
So, about what time was it when we got here?
You guys left pretty much as soon as you woke up. You walked across Edict, went through the... you guys got here around... I'd say about 2 in the afternoon.
Alright.
Maybe 3.
Well, that part of our plan turned out to be quite a loss, but we're here. We have an entire day to us. Maybe we can look around and find something else. Maybe there was something that they missed.
Yeah, worth checking.
Does anybody have any other suggestions?
Suggestions on what?
And in terms of what to do, I mean, obviously he can't hack into something that's not salvageable, right? That's how this works, right?
There's still you can still hack the main tower.
She's asking you, Neon, if it wasn't clear.
Well, not really sure what else to look for. Looks like most of the computers around here have been completely eviscerated. There's not much. Even if I could fix it up, there wouldn't be much point. It's not like I could do anything at that point.
Don't you guys have a memory thing? Like how do you remember everything that you put on a computer? I don't. There's got to be a way to save it, right?
The hard drive is missing.
Could you could you use a different one?
Well, we'd have to find one.
Lucian just kind of gestures.
Does finding one?
Yeah.
I mean, I was gonna go exploring.
That sound is driving me up a wall.
What sound?
There's a thumping sound. I don't mean to be an asshole, but that sound is driving me crazy.
I don't hear anything.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything. It's your own mind playing tricks on you.
Does it stop when I mute?
I don't
Austin was talking and it was happening.
I think I hear what you mean. There's a small thumping.
Yeah, okay, I see it now. Yeah, that's why I thought earlier, whenever you were mentioning weird mic sounds, I thought that you were referring to what was happening on Austin's mic, because I could hear that the whole time, but I just kind of tuned it out. So I guess, yeah, Austin, because I know you're on your phone mic, yeah, whenever you're not talking, if you can mute. Just because basically every time you shuffle, it comes in through the mic, so. Anyways, continue, Neon.
I think I'd said what I was... I think I'd finished with what I was saying.
Okay. Alright. So, from the sounds of it, is the party's plan to check around the facility for salvageable parts and see if you can't get, if not this machine, a machine working, and see what, if any, data Neon can salvage?
No.
I'm not sure. It just... I don't know if that, is that even worth trying to do?
It's up to you guys.
Well, he's asking Neon.
Oh, okay.
Is it worth it?
I have no idea. There could be something immensely useful to us. There could be absolutely nothing.
Well, you'd think that these guys are pretty thorough.
Anyone can make mistakes. Maybe there is a hidden compartment somewhere.
Well, fair enough.
I say that we all speak together and
For fuck's sake!
try to
Use the other mic.
scour the place to our best abilities.
Or we split up to cover more ground.
My God.
Do you think that's a good idea? Do you think the monsters are coming?
Repeat.
Do you think it's a good idea
sorry.
in case the monsters aren't gone?
I feel like most of the monsters that are here may have drowned.
Alright. Hikaru, do you want to be with me?
Sure.
You.
Alright. Zephyr, the party seems to be formulating at least a loose plan. What would you like to do? It seemed like you had something in mind. You're muted if you're talking.
Yeah, I was thinking. Trying to think. Endeavor just seems like this whole. First off, they're already searching, so he's just might as well he gets something out of this. So he's just going to explore for just anything he seems that he would deem himself as useful, just like not like techno bit bell. Even if he was looking for it, he wouldn't know what to look for. It's just like
fair. Okay.
So yeah, maybe they left a magic item, or maybe they left.
Is what we're trying to look for.
It sounds like you're.
Yeah,
I'm assuming he's saying Neon's going to describe what we're looking for.
You might need to use the other mic.
Yeah. Okay, no, yeah, Austin had it right.
He was doing so well too.
Alright. Neon, as you take another survey of the computer, you're not sure exactly if the machines of this place will be in a salvageable state, and you're not sure what, if anything, the Peacekeepers have left you to work with, but you do at least feel pretty confident that you get the vibe. Anything that had potentially useful information was taken by the Peacekeeper squad led by your former acting officer. Hard drives have been outright stolen from their computers, along with any information that was on them. What they did with them at that point, you're not certain. The party has made at least a loose plan to scour the facility, which thankfully for the time being seems clear of Ichor beasts, and scour the place for potential technologies that you can use to piece together something to elevate your hacking prowess or potentially even salvage some data. Zephyr, less in selfishness and more just lacking anything better to do, will be contenting himself searching for anything else of value that the Peacekeepers may have left behind. As the party...
Neil's doing the same.
Alright. As the party, for now, splits into small fragments to scour the recently hollowed out by the Peacekeepers facility, so at the very least splitting up seems like a reasonable option here. In an attempt to gather any potential advantage over the Scar Concord for the coming conflict. As Neon builds up their resources and confidence to, from the sounds of it, the plan is cemented, attempt to out-hack the smartest man in Yav. And that is where we're going to end tonight's session.
We survived.
Wow.
More eventful than I was expecting, honestly.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know why I closed the outro file. I had it ready this time, and I closed it. If you want to see more of my DMing, check out twitch.tv/GrahamCrackers, GrameCrackerz, for my Friday campaign, The Goldshine Investigations, featuring a party of investigators unraveling the cultish conspiracy that threatens to plunge their homeland into war. Check out our website at officiald5hub.info, resurrected from the grave like a filthy necromancer going on the biggest trip of their lives. Check our link in chat, which I'm about to post, to join our official D5 Discord server if you want to hang out with us directly. And please support our episodes posted on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all the different podcast places. Just check them all. For our audio listeners, catch us live on Tuesdays at 9:30 Central Daylight Time, on twitch.tv/Odd Tornado Productions or the Odd Tornado Productions YouTube channel to catch up on what you missed. Check out Odd Tornado Productions Official on Tumblr to find links to our other works, including our Human Rogues Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Killer5. That is 5 with a PH for the record, don't get it wrong. If you enjoy what we do, please support us on Patreon, about to post that link as well, or on Ko-fi at kofi.com/Odd Tornado Productions, and follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/TornadoOdd. If you enjoy this party and want to see more of them, plus or minus a few, check out our Monday game taking place at the same time, 9:30 Central Daylight, for our Monday game, Under Locks and Keys, featuring a party of globe-trotting treasure hunters gathering the artifacts of the gods to either unlock a bountiful treasure or a terrible apocalyptic curse. One of the two. I think that's about everything, so thanks everyone at home so much